forget to like and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell
so we can go to college and get more knowledge.
Welcome back in the place to be with the CBDC Assets Group. Thank you all for being a part of the group. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's supporting us over on CyberHODLGEAR.com, purchasing all of our CBDC Assets Group merchandise. Thank you again. Your support means a lot. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for being back in the place to be with the CBDC Assets Group. Today, I'm sharing some videos with you that I thought were ironic and very interesting. And in one video, Brad Garlinghouse talks about the other video. So what we got is Gary Gensler talking to Jon Stewart, his interview with him, 6 minutes right there. And that's at the end of the second video. And the first one is going to be Brad Garlinghouse on the Fox, on the Clamming Countdown, talking about the S.E.C case and how Gary Gensler says that they're getting ready to lose to Ripple. Just speculation. He doesn't say that, but he says something along those lines. So make sure you stick around till the end and watch both of these videos, because I think they're both very relevant. And I just question why Jon Stewart is interviewing Gary Gensler. Seems pretty interesting to me. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
House, yes, of course, Ripple, related to XRP. Brad would know a thing or two about this, along with Charlie Gasparino.
I know nothing. He knows everything.
I know nothing. What do you make of what Powell said? He kind of gave it to both sides.
What did he say, though? Did he say anything?
It's not entirely clear. By the way, I do want to start by just saying that I and the team at Ripple feel so strongly about standing with the people of Ukraine, and I just want to put that out there.
Sure.
But my comment as I listen to some of the things I hear out of Washington is just I fear that there's a lack of knowledge. There's a lack of information about how crypto really works. And I think it does a disservice to responsible actors like Ripple, who are working with governments, with sanctions. Everything that is enforced from a sanction point of view through fiat currency, anything that Ripple does is enforced in the exact same way. And so there's no different level playing field. And I think in some ways, I heard Senator Warren saying things yesterday that felt like it's holding crypto to a different standard and expecting, for example, a blanket ban of all crypto in some of these countries in a way that, well, you can still use PayPal, you can still use these, some of these other things, and I don't think we should treat them differently.
Ripple is like Swift, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, Ripple's starting point, kind of our first use case for the technology, the blockchain technology, and the digital asset XRP was to solve that cross-border payments problem.
Right.
Swift is quite antiquated, kind of designed 50 years ago. It's slow, it's expensive, but it is a choke point that the governments use to enforce sanctions. My point is, nothing that Ripple is doing circumvents any of that.
So you're following the sanctions exactly? Like, for example, it's like, what, 8 banks, but a couple can still trade through it theoretically?
Correct. The sanctions are applied through what I'll call the choke points, the on-ramps and off-ramps. That's true for Swift, that's true for Ripple. Regardless of what I'll call just the plumbing of how things are moving, the choke points are the endpoints. So I think, when I step back and look at this, I think there is a lack of knowledge. I think people need to understand that crypto isn't this kind of black box. It's kind of back from when it was known as Silk Road. The industry has come a long way.
So an oligarch, or let's just say Vladimir Putin, couldn't finance tanks through Bitcoin.
Look, one of the things that people don't realize is there's just not enough liquidity.
Yeah.
Russia used to trade pre-sanctions $50 billion of cross-border kind of transactions per day. Crypto does not have anywhere near that. So, look, in the same way that somebody could be taking wheelbarrows of rubles or the Ukrainian currency across to Poland and things like, there are ways you could do that, but it's really not significantly dissimilar.
Why are they so obsessed with it then? It's like so weird.
I think it's a kind of clickbait. It's a hot item. I think people, it adds a relevance and excitement around some of these things, but I think people don't understand.
Well, we had spoken to Gary Gensler of the Securities and Exchange Commission. I know you saw that interview because we were emailing afterward about it, but he specifically tried to say that he wants to very much focus on what's a security and what is an actual token, a cryptocurrency. I feel like if that's the case and he's holding you to that standard, at some point he's going to have to go after Ether as well, because Ether and Ethereum are those two very similar paths, just like XRP and Ripple, are they not?
Look, I think that's absolutely true. I don't want to comment on what they should or shouldn't do. I think as it relates to Ethereum, my view is it's very clear Ethereum's a currency. It's very clear XRP is a currency, and that the SEC. I mean, he was interviewed yesterday. Gary Gensler was, or maybe it was even this morning, and commented that, hey, we're going to lose some cases. This is the definition of regulation by enforcement.
He was going to lose. You think he was saying he's going to lose your case?
I don't know what he was saying. I think but he did say, hey, we're going to lose some, and we're okay with that. That's the definition.
Where are you on the case? Let's get an update.
The quick update, on Monday was the last day of expert testimony, expert depositions, et cetera. And so the case continues to move forward. We're expecting some decisions from the court, sooner rather than later as it relates to a couple of decisions before the court. But look, it's moved slowly. I think Gary Gensler has continued to kind of go with a narrative that crypto is the Wild West. It's not the Wild West. Are there bad actors? Yes, there's bad actors in all parts of...
Well, bad actors in money laundering in U.S. dollars.
I found it fascinating from reading the documents for all the stuff they said about how bad it was that you did an unregistered securities. They never say anything bad about your platform. Why is that? I mean, because it's nothing bad.
Well, the irony there is, like, we were in the SEC's offices. I met with Chairman Clayton. I was meeting with commissioners. No one ever once said, hey, we think XRP is a security. And they look backwards and say, now we think it's all a security. That's a hard argument.
Please come back. Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple. We are coming right back. Charlie, thanks to you as well.
Is the SEC the best system to do this?
I think the American public kind of gets it, that the system is not fully working for them. That's right.
Oh, yes. I believe that's true.
All right.
The apes exposed something really interesting. They crowdsourced a way of rooting out corruption. They found things in the system that didn't seem right, like the information that they were getting was 2 weeks old, that they weren't being told that these 140% shorts totaled that 140%. They knew there was a short, but they didn't get that information until later, and they didn't get the information to the extent of it. And doesn't that show that disclosure and transparency are not functioning to the protection of investors?
I'm not saying this is without its challenges. There are real challenges. There are real challenges. Complexity helps them.
Give me a better system. Give me a better system to do this than the one we have in place. Because the one we have in place is getting its butt kicked.
I believe in this system. I believe in our American democracy. You're not going to get me to say
I'm not
something
saying
other than
give
that.
me a different system than American democracy. Purely based on the financial system we have and the stock market. Is there a better system than the SEC? Is there something in this crowdsourcing that the apes brought to bear that can be useful? Can there be a partnership between the SEC and a more crowdsourced?
John, I live within the system I'm in.
Dream, man, dream.
I'll dream, but I also want to get things done.
Okay.
I want to get things done on behalf of the investing public.
Have you thought about, outside of the bureaucracy, is there something that could help you be more agile?
So I would say, and the compliment goes to Senator Grassley from Iowa. Senator Grassley fought hard on a decentralization point you're talking about. It's called the whistleblower law. So in the aftermath of the 2008 crisis and that big reform law, Dodd-Frank, Senator Grassley fought hard that this agency and some other agencies stood up and put in place a whistleblower program. And over the 10 or so years that this has stood up, we've given awards. That's a crowdsourcing, decentralized.
What do we need to do, and is the SEC not enough? You know, if you look at the past 10 years, right, or the past 20 years, the SEC very rarely will send something and recommend it to the DOJ for prosecution. That 2008 financial crisis.
That's not true. I mean, we bring about 700 750 enforcement cases a year, and I can give you the exact figures, but a whole chunk of those are also joint criminal investigations.
Right. You know, with all the financial shenanigans that have gone over the years, the only person we've really brought to heel is Martha Stewart. And that's got to tell you something about just how tilted this thing is.
I've forgotten a little bit about Bernie Madoff, but...
Well, speaking of Bernie Madoff, who came up with payment for order flow?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I understand. But he did serve his time in jail and everything. There.
One guy and one woman. Generally, it seems like people don't go to jail for financial crimes. They pay fines. I think that's a fair statement.
That's fair. But
Generally,
the Department of Justice has the criminal authorities.
Understood.
We have the civil.
That's right. And on the civil side, more than 50% of the fines levied from SEC judgments are not collected. There are less financial judgments that are levied now than there were 15 years ago. It doesn't seem like the SEC has the ability to keep up. Is there anything that you would think could bring more teeth to the SEC in terms of accountability that would be more of a stick?
I think what we can do is bring important cases that are sort of high-profile cases that show people, no, you're over the line. It could be accounting fraud. It could be insider trading.
But is there something that would be more of a deterrent?
More of a deterrent is bars where individual accountability. There's nothing like individual accountability to send a deterrent across the whole market if somebody's held accountable. We only have civil law enforcement, but that means barring them from the industry or trading or appearing before us. Willing to litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, take some losses from time to time, but go into court.
Right.
I think all of those things, but it's trying to use high-profile cases to bring folks back on the right side of the line. And also, I would say, a focus on gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, the accountants, the lawyers, the underwriters, and so forth. That sends a signal across a market, too.
Take out the little guys.
No. The gatekeepers, John.
Coming back in a year, we're going to see how this all worked out.
Give us a little bit more time, but yeah, I got it.
Well, by then, it'll be a whole different financial market.
All right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe
And hit the notification bell
so we can go to college and get more knowledge.